Welcome to Fitzdog Radio. I'm sitting alone in my office on a Friday night. Used to be that was the beginning of something. Remember what Friday nights used to feel like? You'd worked all week, you'd been with coworkers, you commuted home, and you looked forward to some downtime where you could, I don't know, do a puzzle or read or stare at the wall. Well, now that's what we do starting on Monday morning. So Friday night comes and it's kind of like, I guess it's like your dog dry humping your leg. It's not the real thing, but you go through the motion. It's comforting. So I'm about to dry hump the leg for the weekend. I'll be gone soon. I'm hitting the road, people. Get out your calendars. Coming to see you. We're celebrating that the pandemic is over. Trump said that we turned the corner. I guess we didn't know it was around the next corner. There was more COVID apparently around the corner. It's bad, but it's going to get better. We got pills now. Some people are going to get inoculated. I don't give a shit. I'm going on the road. The rooms are going to be safe. They're all going to be at a certain capacity. I don't know what it is. We'll keep them crowd small. The masks on. Come on out. Indianapolis, January 7th through 9. Phoenix, January 21 through 24. Kansas City, January 28th through the 30th. Portland, Helium Comedy Club, February 18th through 20. Sacramento, March 11th through 13. And then dates in Raleigh, San Francisco. Go to Fitzdog.com. Get yourself some tickets. Bring a friend out. Celebrate the end. I'm kidding. I know the pandemic is nowhere near ended, but we're gonna move forward. Enough said. Talked to my mom yesterday. She listens to the podcast, so I have to be careful what I say about her. I had other things to say about her, but I'm cutting them out. I'll just tell you that we have. We were talking about somebody who was going to go through the sex change operation procedure, and my mother said that she was transmissioning. So I guess she's going to the auto body shop. She's going to the body shop, right? That's just what you call a surgeon anyway. It's the body shop. She's going to transmission. She's in first gear right now, but by the summer she's going to be in second gear. In the fall she'll be in third gear, and then for Christmas she'll be a man. She's transmissioning. All right. Let's get to it. Football. I'm in a pool. It's about 200 people in this pool every year, and I always get in the top 10. Always. You pick one football game a week, and there's no point spread. You just pick the team to win, and once you pick that team, you can't pick them again for the rest of the season. So the key is you're trying to save the best teams in the league for later in the season. And I have done that. I've got a couple strong teams left. We're in week, I think it's like 14. And I have gotten 13 or 14 weeks in a row picked correctly. So I'm in the final 10 out of 200. Well, I should say I'm not in it. My daughter is. I got a box for her as well. And so if I win, she gets all the money. It's $20 a pop. So what's that? $4,000? I think a chunk of it goes to charity, and then we take the rest. But anyway, she gets the money, and she's pretty excited. Now all of a sudden she's paying attention to football. Did you watch the Chargers game, Thursday Night Football? Holy shit. This guy Herbert, he is one of the most promising quarterbacks to hit the league in a decade. This guy is incredible. Should I say a decade? Who else? Well, whatever. Didn't think I'd be as big of a Chargers fan as I am, but I watch all the games. We got the Rams and the Chargers. Chargers are out of it, but if the Rams win, that would mean that we won the World Series, the NBA championships, and perhaps the Super Bowl all in the same year, which would be pretty sweet for a town that everybody's fucking leaving. Everybody. Not all my friends, a lot of my friends, comedian friends have left It's sad. Theo Vaughn's gone now. Joey Diaz, Rogan, Duncan Trussell. They're all gone. The rest have been canceled. So I got nobody to go to the Dairy Queen with anymore. We did the big Christmas tree thing this week. Went out. Got a nice tree. Brought it home, decorated it, lit a fire. My daughter is a, what's the word? Pyromaniac. And so we start the fire, a few logs, and I leave and I come back and she's put like 9 more logs in. There's a fucking bonfire going on in our living room. It's like 130 degrees. We're fucking sweating. The dogs are asleep. Everybody's asleep. You just start nodding off. Unbelievable. So I gotta keep an eye on her at the fireplace. But it's also like $10 for like a pack of 4 from Ralph's from the supermarket. 4 or 5 logs, $10. And so I got a whole bunch. So I went to a real wood place the other day, and I got a wheelbarrow full, and I brought it home, and it's the hardest fucking wood of all time. And I don't have a gas line in my fireplace, which we used to have, and it broke. So we have to use kindling, and this shit will not light on fire. And I've got a fucking truckload of it on the side of my house. So if anybody needs firewood, let me know. You can swing by and pick it up. I live in Venice. So let's get to some mail. You guys have sent a lot. I spent a lot of time reading mail. I promise to get back to all of you. And it means a lot to me that you guys take the time out to send me letters. Love hearing the positive stuff and all that. Not too long. Try to not write, because I try to read every word. And some people will send like a 4-page. I can't do that. I do my best, but I've learned disabilities. This guy, John Minetti, said, here in Vegas, I saw a TV commercial for a used car dealership that shows a lonely car on their lot where the announcer proudly proclaimed, this 2007 Sebring convertible has a peppy 6-cylinder 3.5-liter engine with power steering and a tan leather interior. At 76,000 miles, it won't last long. It won't. It will not last long. You'll buy it and you will break down about a half a mile away. The Sebring was not known for its longevity. I remember growing up, one of my best friends, Kyle, his family had a Sebring. This would have been like an 81 Sebring. And man, this was like the family car. I don't know why they gave it to him. We would just return it filled with empty beer cans, cigarette burns, blown out the speaker, and you know, the underside would be scratched from fucking jumping it, going over speed bumps at 40 miles an hour, and everybody had the kids that owned their own cars. There was like the kids in town that were motorheads, and at that time, the motorhead car was a Monte Carlos. I don't even think they make those anymore. They were like, they were kind of low ridery, like the back sat back, and there was like 2 doors, and they were each about 9 feet long. And they swung open, and then you climb in the back. You put on Physical Graffiti by Zeppelin, smoke a fatty, drive around fruitlessly looking for women that haven't already rejected you. Yeah, and Grand Prix, Pontiac Grand Prix. Those were the other car everybody cruised in. I had a Volkswagen Rabbit. Sucked. Gene Steinhoff said, you mentioned to Colin that comedians are smart yet bad students, and I have a theory. I'm a 46-year-old junior at Azusa Pacific. All right, well, pace yourself there, Jay. And I have found that a great deal of my coursework stuff that I'm really not interested in. I have found that a great deal is stuff I'm not in. I've realized that to people who have college degrees, GPA is an indicator of how well you perform tasks that you don't want to do. I listen to podcasts who all say that the key to stand-up is finding your voice, your own perspective, and then tailor your act to what interests you. Therefore, success in stand-up is the antithesis of success in school. Listen to me stuttering as I read it. Yeah, we all have learning disorders. We all do. And then you realize when you get older that ADD is not so bad. You know, when you're a comedian and all you have to do is hyper-focus for an hour, or when you're writing for, 45 minutes at a time, and you get excited by it, it's the greatest thing in the world. But you get so beat down in school, you feel like you're so dumb and so less than, that stand-up was just this amazing savior for so many people. But yeah, Jay, keep going. You're 46 as a junior, so I guess you graduate. I guess you graduate at 65, which is the year that you retire, so that'll work out perfect. Jim Mahood. Hey, you said you listened to 28. Spotify sends you your year-end statistics about what you listen to the most. I talked about that. This guy says, hey, you said you listened to 28,000 hours of Spotify this year. That's what they sent me. That's amazing. If you listen to 3 songs simultaneously for 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, you'd hit 26,000 hours. So, man, that's some dedication. Jim, smell a little sarcasm in your voice. A hint of you're better than me. This isn't 8th grade. I did not hand in my homework. I'm a comedian now, Jim. You can't take me down. I think that Spotify is going to do the math and go, hey, this Fitzsimmons guy, I think he's got 9 people hooked up to his Spotify account because he logged 26,000 hours last year. I know that my whole family's on it. I probably gave it to my mom. I also gave her my, audible.com so she can listen to my audiobooks. I've been on Audible for probably 10 years, and that's 12 books a year times. So I've got 120 books in my Audible library. So I gave my mom the password, and now she's listening. They used to be a sponsor. They're not anymore. I wish they'd come back. I believe in the products, but they sailed. They left Fitzdog Radio. This guy Seth says, who do you think wins an old man laugh-off? You, Marin, or Burr? 3 Boston comics. You 3 have that trailing off chuckle that fades into the sunset. I know Burr and I have the same laugh. I can't really remember hearing Marin laugh. Known him 30 years. Yeah, he's got more of a wheezy laugh. He laughs like, who's that cat in the cartoons? He's actually got a nice laugh. Yeah. I think he more makes people laugh. Marin makes me laugh. He's a funny motherfucker. And prolific. Always got new shit. He also said, wait, what else did he say? Oh, no, this guy, Chris Stanhope, not related to Doug, he says. He said, I heard you say the whitest shit ever. Quote, I have to muzzle my asshole dog to put on and take off his jacket. End quote. He says, you live in L.A. What does an asshole dog that tries to bite you get a coat? My dog here in Canada gets a jacket because it's 20 below. If she tried to bite me, the little cunt could freeze all 8 nipples off. Now, is Canada a place where you say cunt the way you do in England and Ireland, and it's not offensive? Although a female dog is a bitch, so I think a female dog can also be a cunt without it being a bad word. No, it's true. I've got this fluffy little Lhasa Apso, little brown dog. He's cute, but he's a fucking asshole. And it's embarrassing. I'll be in front of my house, bending over to pick up shit from this fluffy dog who's got a little red jacket on and saying, good boy, who am I? Who did I become? I used to be a member of the Hells Angels. Now, I was never really a tough guy, but this is pretty sad. Standing in front of my Prius. It's all going to change in 2021. You'll see. Tries to bite me. He's always trying to bite me. Seth says, who do you think? Oh, no, we already did that. Oh, the second part of his note was, have you noticed that Netflix uses the same dozen or so movies for every category? New movies, dramas, etc. all seem to be the same. It's true. What the fuck is up with Netflix's homepage? You can go to most watched, binge-worthy, new series. They all have the same fucking movies. And so you got to go on these lists. And it's a Prime is just as bad. Hulu's just as bad. Hulu's a little bit better. I actually really like Hulu. I like watching old shit. I like that all the Eric Andre shows are on there right now. I'm digging the shit out of that. But the other weird thing on Netflix is that, each member of the family has their own sign-in. And, when the homepage pops up, it's got each of your little sign-in, what do you call them? And the last one just says guest. And sometimes, like, if I look on the Netflix lists, it'll say, like, dirtiest movies on Netflix. And so, of course, I'll put on Netflix, and then I'll sign in under guest. So all the dirty ones are under guest because nobody goes to that one. But if they ever do go to that one, it always has like the continue watching row. And they're going to look at that and be like, who? Sounds like guest is it's got a sex issue. It's like, it'd be like Basic Instinct, The Babysitter. What was that one in Florida? Poison Ivy. Was it called Poison Ivy? The Yo Tiempo, whatever, the Spanish one. They're all on there. They're on there. They've been viewed. And the worst part is it resumes where you left off. So it will return to the sex scene that I was, or probably 5 seconds after the sex scene is where it will resume. Ugh, I gotta clean that out. Movies that other people have suggested. Lars Pearson said, I recommend Ratchet, which looks good because I can't remember the actress who is the star, but she's amazing. Umbrella Academy, haven't heard of. The Good Lord Bird, nope, don't know it. Queen's Gambit, highly recommend. And the Belushi documentary, agree, highly recommend. Allie's son Rosen says, How to Win John Wilson is brilliant and hilarious four-episode doc. I think it's on HBO. That's queued up. That's ready to go. And then Andrew Fisher said, hey, Greg, you should check out a movie on Netflix called Black 47. It's kind of an Irish revenge fantasy about a deserter from the British Army who returns to Ireland during the famine to visit his family. Some things happen. He ends up going all Rambo on the British occupiers. Yes, he does. I saw it. It's a badass movie. Again, I'm not going to sit here and hate on the British. 2021, I'm over it. It's racist that I hate them so much just because they starved our people to death and did it all around the globe. But I'm putting that behind me because I have good friends that are British, and I'm going to possibly visit there soon. So, got to get over it. But yeah, it's really good. Stephen Ray is in it, who's a great Irish actor. Who you've seen him in a million things. He got famous in Crying Game, but he's been in a million things. And he's married to Dolores Price, who was a famous IRA terrorist. Don't forget, Christmas is coming up in a week. Last chance to get your Grapefruit Simmons t-shirts on sale until Christmas Day. Look at that. It's a little wrinkled. Buy them for yourself. Get them as a gift. Don't forget also Sunday Papers every Sunday. If you're not following me on Instagram, I'm basically releasing a 1-hour special, 2 minutes a week. Every Friday, I put up a clip from my stand-up. It wasn't a special, but I taped an hour in Portland, Oregon, last January, and it's going out. So if you want to catch up on the clips, go to Instagram. It's my name. And that's it. All right. Now, my interview for today is with talk about handsome, cool, manly, good actor, Josh Duhamel. And I mean, he's just got this insane life where he was like, he started out, he grew up in Minot, North Dakota, which I've been to, and it's brutal, hard living. Stayed there to go to college, was the captain of the football team, came to LA, became like model of the year in some big competition. And then he beat Ashton Kutcher. That was the runner-up that year. He was an extra in music videos like Genie in a Bottle, Christina Aguilera. Just crazy life. I just think about the women this guy's been with. And then he got on All My Children. You know him from Las Vegas, the TV show Las Vegas, all the Transformers movies. He's got to be fucking rich on top of everything else. But I talked to him yesterday. He's just such a fucking cool dude to hang out with. Had a really nice time. And I hope you enjoy our chat. This is Josh Duhamel. Okay, I'd like to welcome my guest, Josh Duhamel, to the show today. He is remote, as we're all remote. I mean, there's no place to be anymore. We just are where we are. Where are you?
I am in Los Angeles, at home, like everybody else. Just trying to get through this thing.
Yeah, have you got a bubble? Do you have some people that you hang with?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly just me and my son.
Right.
I go back to my cabin quite a bit in Minnesota just to get away from it all so I can have some semblance of freedom.
Right.
So yeah, I when I'm back here, I'm mostly just trying to figure out how I keep my sanity because there's really nothing to do. I mean, all the reasons to be in LA are no longer, at least for now. How's
your toilet paper supply?
It's good, man. And I've got a shower, so I can just, go wash my butt there if I need to.
Right.
I don't really understand the toilet paper thing. I mean, it feels like there's many other necessities before toilet paper.
It seemed to jump to the front of the line, didn't it?
Sure did. Jesus.
And then everybody ran out and started buying bidets, which I'm guilty. I bought a bidet.
Did you really?
I bought the bidet, but then if you've ever used one, it basically it's like a civil rights riot on your asshole. There's just a giant hose, and at the end of it, you use more toilet paper trying to dry your balls and your taint and your inner thighs. It's a disgrace.
Although I got to tell you, man, at my last house that I was at with my ex, we had bidets on the toilets. I'd never experienced that before.
Yeah, right.
And I got to say, I started to question my sexuality there a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was all sitting on the toilet way too long.
Yeah, I know. That's the sweet spot. It's God's little secret for men. We're not allowed to play with that as a man. That's forbidden. But then all of a sudden you get some water in there and you're like, I get it. Especially when the temperature is just right. My bidet is like a cold water bidet. It's like it's like a popsicle going up there.
No. You got to have the heated bidet.
Yeah. Yeah, you had that high end one. You had the one that did it have a remote control so you could move around the head?
It did.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on one of those. Does it bleach your asshole?
No, we didn't spring for that.
So listen, I just finished watching your movie today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Your new movie called Buddy Games, which I laughed a lot. It's really fun.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Congrats.
Yeah, it's a wild, raunchy sort of no holds barred comedy. Those are the kind of comedies that I love. I love anything Judd Apatow or Todd Phillips or Farrelly Brothers. Those kind of movies that made me where I go, I can't believe they just did that.
Yes.
That's the kind of movie that I wanted to make. And, you know, typically when an actor turns director and he wants to show, you know, how artistic he is, I was like, fuck that. I just want to make people laugh.
Right.
And that's really what the intent was. I wanted it, and obviously I think the movie has a lot of heart, and it's got a real story and stuff behind it. But yeah, there's moments that you can't unsee. And
yeah, there's who did the prosthetics on the ball sacks? Is that an expert, or do you go to Jack's Joke Shop for that?
Well, no, the special effects people did that, and I have a video on my phone still of it was quite a process actually. They had to, you know, we wanted them to look realistic, and you know, there's a certain amount of hang. There's a certain amount of, you know, they can't hang too long, but they got to be long enough where you can actually do stuff with them. And they had this girl. She must have been 22 years old. She's probably she's like an understudy. Yeah. Asian, just over there like shaping the balls, and I have video of her doing it. And I was like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing. And then there's a moment in that movie where you'll remember where you actually see the slow-mo shot of the paintball hitting the nutsack. Well, that was never part of the original production. They didn't want to spring for it's called a phantom camera. They're really high speed. They do super slow-mo, so you got to 5,000 frames a second or whatever we shot it at. And so after we were done putting the movie together, I was like, we need that shot. We need that moment. I want to show that moment. So I went and I was able to call back to Vancouver, have them send me the prosthetic balls. I rented a phantom camera. I rented a lighting kit because you need to put a lot of light on that phantom because you have that many frames, you need a lot of light. Yeah. C-stand, the whole bit, rented a little studio. I rented a paintball gun, and we had the nuts hanging from a C-stand, and I just started like sitting behind the camera and shooting until we got the right one, put it in the movie, and it gets a huge reaction. I'm so glad we did it.
I think it's very similar when you say you saw the footage and you said, I absolutely need this shot. It reminds me of
Francis Ford
Coppola when Brando at the end of Apocalypse Now is saying the horror. And he said, I need that shot, because I think like him, this it juxtaposes the duality of man. And I think the Nietzschean need for man to express himself.
Yeah. Very
at the same time having a good ball shot.
Very similar pieces of art. I can relate.
And you got the right cast for this movie. Swartzen's one of my best friends. He's a good buddy.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, he's I've known him since he was probably 18 years old when I first met him in New York. He was just a young pup, but he was already like a year into stand-up. Everybody was always like, well, this guy's going to be huge. You just could tell. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been friends for a long time too. I met him early on in my career, just at, whatever event party, whatever it was. I just remember running into him, and we started because we're both big Minnesota Vikings fans. So we connected it in that way. And he's been a friend ever since. So he was actually the first person that I went to, because I knew that he was perfect for Bender in this movie. He plays one of my best friends. And he's spot on. He's the perfect casting for it. And he did a great job. He did.
Every single scene. He was just hitting triples and home runs. Like they just big laughs over and over again. It's great.
How about the lemonade stand scene?
So great.
Oh God. He's
giving
just
little girls the finger.
He's just so shameless. Dude has no fear.
Yes. So great. And
strippers when you grow up, really bad ones that no one pays to see.
Did he just riff all that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. And he was I'll tell you a funny story about my bachelor party. It was out here in LA, and I got an RV, and I think we had 13 guys in an RV. We had a blender, porn movies on a TV set, and we pull into town. Half of us were staying in hotel rooms, half of us were staying in the RV. And so we rent a stretch limo one day. And we pull up to the Bellagio, which at the time was pretty new. And it was like very fancy. And everybody thinks they're a big deal who's standing out front. Stretch limo pulls up. And we're all in it. 13 guys in a stretch limo. The door opens. Swartzen gets out. He's got his pants around his ankles. And he turns around and he goes, "Thanks a lot, guys. Call me again."
Oh, my God.
And then we all had to get out of the limo one by one after that.
Yeah. Oh, that's Swartzen in a nutshell right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
No fear.
Dude, what's going on with your kicker and the Vikings? He's the worst kicker in a decade.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he's not with them anymore. They did cut him, right? I haven't seen.
I have to guess. I can't imagine.
Yeah, well, he was a good kicker for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And before that, remember we had Blair Walsh.
That's right.
Who was, I mean, just, I don't know what it is. I don't know. There's something going on. There's some kind of a hex or something that's been cast upon this team that it's like we just don't believe that we can win the big one. We should have, I don't know if you remember this, but we should have beat the Seahawks. It was like 5 years ago. It's in the old Gopher Stadium, -4. I was there, and he did the same thing. He was like a 23-year-old. He's shorter than an extra point, and he misses it.
Yeah, yeah.
He'd actually kept us in that game, and then he misses the one he needed to make.
Right.
And so it's not our first experience with these kickers that just sort of shit the bed. But
well, it's also, I mean, imagine kicking a football when it's 0 degrees out. I mean, that thing is it's hard as a rock. It's flying about 20 yards less far.
Yeah, and he'd made 2 or 3 of them that day, much further out.
Yeah. And
I don't know. I mean, listen, it's the Vikings find a new way to break my heart every year.
Yeah.
This year, I didn't have as high of expectations because we lost so many players. But Zimmer does get them to play hard. Yeah. And we can beat anybody on any given day, but then we lose games that we shouldn't. And bettors hate the Vikings. They will lose games they should win, and they'll win games that they should lose. They're like the Giants. I'm a Giants fan. It's the same thing. They just every year you think, we got something, and then they just break your heart. Yeah. Yeah. It's at least you guys have won a couple. Yeah. We still haven't won that big one yet, but I believe Zimmer's the guy to get us there. You guys never won a Super Bowl? No, we've been to 4. Dang, all those years with Fran Tarkenton, you didn't win a Super Bowl? Been to 4 of them, never won. Yeah. Wow. Well, that's going to feel good when you get it. It may be a little while, but. Oh yeah, and we're always good. The Vikings are always a upper echelon. I mean, at least top 3rd team, I would say. Yeah. So we're good enough to get a decent draft pick. We're never bad enough to get like a top draft pick. So right. We've never really got, in my opinion. And listen, I think that. Cousins is a good, serviceable quarterback, good guy, whatever. But I just don't think he's the guy to take us all the way. I'd love for us to go after Carson Wentz, get him out of Philly. Are you serious? Yes. I believe. He's terrible. No, he's not. He's a good quarterback. I'm telling you. Having a rough year. Philly broke him. Yeah. Broke him. They brought in Hurts, and I think that it was a combination of things. But he's a winner in the clutch. Well, he'll be available next year. I'll tell you that if you guys want to grab him. I believe in the dude. Yeah. Wow. You don't hear that a lot from your mouth. Now you played football. You played in college, right? I did. Yeah. Go Beavers, Minot State University. I have performed. I'm a stand-up comic as well, and I performed there a couple times. But my favorite time that I performed there, it was like January. I had this agent. I grew up in New York, but I had this agent who was from Chicago. And I think he used to get off on sending me to the coldest places in the country in the coldest months of the year. So he sends me to Minot State in January. Oh my God. I was doing a tour of colleges. So I had been in Minneapolis, and then I went up to Grand Forks. Yep. And so, which is right on the border of Minnesota and North Dakota. Right. And so then my next gig from there is to get to Minot State the next night. Mm-hmm. I get in the car that afternoon, and I'm trying to beat the snow because there's a blizzard coming in. Mm-hmm. I get on the road. I start driving.
It starts coming down, and I'm on this fucking road. There's a road that goes across. I can't remember the route number, but I remember it goes past like Devil's Lake or something.
And I think is it 52? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's Route 2.
52 or 52, I can't remember.
And so it starts getting darker as the snow rolls in. Dark. I mean, it's 3 p.m, and it is dark. And all of a sudden, it starts coming down harder and harder, and then white out. I'm down, and there's nothing. There is no off ramps. It's a 2-lane road. So I pull over to the shoulder, and I'm just sitting there panicked, like, what the fuck am I? I can't see where the road stops and the ditch starts. And so all of a sudden, I see this 18-wheeler coming behind me. I see the headlights, and I'm like, all right, this guy's going to fucking kill me. He passes me. I jump on the road again, and I grip that steering wheel, and I am just staring at those 2 taillights like it's a video game that my life depends on. And for the next like 40 minutes, I just sat as far as I could so I didn't slam into him, but close enough where I didn't lose the lights. And man, I get to Minot, and I'm like trembling.
Yeah.
And so the kids are like, and now it's like everybody's snowed in. Schools cancel the next day, and so now it's a big party night. So everybody comes out to the show, and it's sold out. And then they go, hey, we got so many kids that still want to come. We'll pay you double if you do a second show for the other kids.
No way.
So it went from being like the scariest night of my life to like making twice the money.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So what year was this? Do you remember?
This would have been around 94, 95, 96 range.
Oh, God, I had just left then.
Oh, really?
94 was my last year there.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
I remember you guys had a nice little auditorium.
Yeah, where did you do that? Do you remember where you did it?
I think it probably held like 300 or 400 people, maybe more.
Was it in a theater set?
Yeah.
Was it McFarland Auditorium? Probably.
I don't remember the name, but it was like a proper theater. Yeah.
That's what it was then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get this. I would have probably been one of those guys there.
Yeah. I mean, the nicest people. I did a lot of shows in North Dakota. I mean, people, you really can't believe they're that nice. You almost, like being a New Yorker, you almost don't trust it.
Yeah. No, they're as good as they come up there, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You can trust them with your firstborn son.
Yeah. And your family's still up there?
Yep. My mom and my sister, my oldest sister, are still there. My nieces and nephews, yeah. I've got a bunch of friends who still live there.
Yeah.
I still get up there 2 or 3 times a year.
Right. And then how far is the Minnesota house from there?
So I'm on the other side so North Dakota's on the west side of the state. I'm on my cabin is in Minnesota, just past the North Dakota border, northwestern Minnesota. Right. So it's about a 6-hour drive from Minot, but about an hour and a half from Fargo.
Wow. Yeah. Shit. And what was it like playing football in that cold? Was that brutal?
It was, I mean, it sucked. I mean, it was the worst. I mean, it was, but at the same time, I wouldn't trade it for anything because it toughened me up, man.
Yeah, right.
I'll never forget, like, having to go, like, we had good teams. My sophomore year, especially, we were really good. We went to the Final Four in the NAIA, whatever. And so we'd never played that late in the year. It was like, I think early December we played into, and it went from this muddy practice field to like frozen, jagged mud. And we'd be out there practicing and this stuff. And it's like, you did not want to get tackled because it was like spikes. But, and I just remember there are moments when I remember throwing the ball one time and I hit, as I was throwing it, hit a guy's helmet. And I couldn't feel, it was so cold, I couldn't feel my hand for like the next 5 plays. And I had to like throw the ball and I couldn't feel the football on my hand.
Yeah.
But it's, it's like that kind of stuff I wouldn't trade for anything because it's like, no, it doesn't matter how cold it gets in LA or where the hell I am. It's like, it's my last winter in Minot was, and this is the reason why I got the fuck out of there. I was like, I'm done with this place. It was like, it was 60 degrees below zero. Like regular. With the wind chill, it was 104 degrees below. It was, and I'm not kidding you, it was breaking records, and it was so bad you couldn't leave your car. You had to like leave it plugged in. And
you got to plug it in, right? Yeah.
And running, because even if you turned it off, it was just like brutally cold.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to California. I'm going to go see what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
And that was my last winter there. I still go back.
Dude, when you're on all fours in the freezing cold, plugging your car in, you got to stop and go, maybe we're not supposed to be living here.
Well, I mean, and with the amenities, by the way, they have the amenities. Imagine being back in the day. Like, how did the first settlers ever survive out there?
Right.
Without heat? And I mean, it's a hardy breed, and it's sort of, it's sort of carried on through them. It's a hardier breed than, I mean, New York, that's a hardy breed too. Anybody who lives up there in that cold weather is tougher than we are here in Southern Cali, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely, having grown, I went to college in Boston, which was even colder than New York. And so I was good with, and I don't remember in college ever being that bummed out about the cold. It was just sort of like, it was what you were used to. So you just did it. And now I go back and I can't handle it. I just, if I have to work in a cold place for the weekend, I'm like, I want to get picked up in front of the hotel. I want to get dropped off in front of the club. I'm not walking a press. You fucking pick me up and drive me right to the door. But I think it makes you strong. It's got to make you, I think there's you see people that come from the upper Northwest and upper Midwest, and you just see like, there's a work ethic that comes with that. There's sort of like this Protestant work ethic that comes out of that world. Yeah,
I would agree with that. Where are you now again?
I'm in Venice Beach.
Oh, okay. So we're not far from each other.
No, what part of LA are you in?
I'm in Encino.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. How's the homeless situation over there in Venice Beach? My buddy was over here earlier, one of my business partners, and he said that Venice Beach is pretty shady right now.
Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, there's just I think it's mostly because rents have just become so high that nobody can afford to live here anymore. So you get people, how many people live paycheck to paycheck? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, a pandemic hits. Yeah. And it's like, and the government gives you whatever they gave people. Yeah. $600 and that's it. And so like, you've got all these people that are like, and it's not just like a lean-to. People are putting up a guy's got a door. Penmar, the golf course in Venice? Yeah. This guy, he's got a fucking door with hinges on it going into his
They're
shed.
Building actual structures like on the sidewalks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's becoming like a full-on shanty town. And it's really tough because, you feel mixed because I'm a bleeding heart liberal. And so I always feel like, no, we got to take care of, those less fortunate than us. I grew up Catholic. I believe in, but then it's in your backyard and all of a sudden you're like, hey, I don't like these people that are taking a dump against my fence. And it's like, you really feel very mixed. I don't know. All you can try to do is help, Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the solution? It's interesting.
Well, I think it's got to be about getting people into housing where they don't have to come up with the first and last and security deposit, because that's just too big of a barrier for entry. They got to make housing that they can get people into, and so they get cleaned up, get them some clothes, coach them on getting a job again. Yeah. And you got to find the people that have just transitioned into homeless and try to save them and get them back. Because I hate to say it, but like a lot of the people that have been on the streets for 10 years, how are you going to get them a job?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
a difficult situation for sure.
Yeah. There's no homeless in North Dakota, right?
Well, it's not really a destination spot for,
right.
The winters are sort of, they sort of prevent people from wanting to go there for, you kind of need a house if you're or at least shelter, especially this time of the year.
Because New York has a lot of homeless. There's a tremendous amount of homeless people in New York, and it's crazy. But anyway, let's talk about brighter things.
Yeah, sorry about that. I brought that up. That's my bad.
Well, it is. I mean, it's something that has to be talked about, and I think people do gloss over it. It's a very tough situation. And it's going to get worse. So we should prepare ourselves for solutions to this problem.
Yeah. The only reason I brought it up is because I was just talking about Venice right now, because he's getting here liberal too, and he's like, listen, I get it, but I don't know what to do. I mean, it's becoming like I don't know. Sorry.
You chew? Look at you. I love it. I used to chew the leaf, the red man. I used to stuff my cheek with that because I used to paint houses in the summer. And it was a great way to just keep buzzing along, keep working all day.
Yeah, I promised my son I would quit in 2020 before 2021. So I got a couple more days left and I got to kick this.
Yeah, because he's going to start doing it. Yeah, kids do what their dads do.
Yeah, I know.
So
I already see him like trying to.
Yeah, right.
I was like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I know. I quit.
What I say, how does I do?
I quit everything a while ago. So now my son has nothing to rebel against.
That's good.
I guess. I don't know.
How old's your son?
He started college last year. So he's in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Well, he's home now, but he goes to DePaul in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And then my daughter is a senior in high school. So she's spending her senior year sitting on her bed doing classes online.
It ain't right, man.
I know. It's such a bummer.
Right. It's not fair. These poor kids.
I know.
Ugh.
Yeah, they got to figure it out. Hopefully, I'm really hoping that by the spring semester, they say it's with the right precautions, they can start bringing kids back.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, I heard that there's enough vaccinations, or they're going to have enough vaccinations for everybody to get vaccinated if they choose to, and I think that would do it. No.
Well, they got to get two though. Cool. Everybody's got to get two, and they have to be a few weeks apart.
For the pharmaceutical companies.
What's that?
How convenient for the pharmaceutical companies.
I know.
Everybody take two.
Yeah. Is that amazing?
Yeah.
So they say so that takes like 6 weeks from the time you get the first one until you're able to go into the main population is like 6 weeks. So that would mean, they'd have to start. It would have to happen pretty soon. But I mean, I'm going on the road. I got tour dates. I'm in clubs January, February, March, and what am I going to do? It's what I do for a living.
Are you going to be able to do that?
They keep the clubs half full, and everybody's got to wear a mask. Okay. And I just make the best of it. I try to avoid people as much as I can off stage. I just go back to the green room, and and then I quarantine when I come home. My wife makes me sleep in the back house by myself.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, I got to make money though. Look, what am I going to do? That's how we make a living.
Kudos to you for going out and doing it still. I'm such a contrarian. Like, I have a hard time with all these rules in this. It just feels like an effort to control and manipulate. And I'm finding myself being difficult to be around because I'm annoyed by so many things, because I just feel like they're trying to fucking lock me down.
Yeah.
And I need to like deal with that somehow, because it like that, the contrarian in me is having a hard time, following these rules, because I don't want to do that. That's part of the reason why I spend most of my time at the cabin.
Right.
I've become a bit of a recluse during this whole thing, because I just refuse to,
What are the things that bother you the most?
I just feel like there's an effort to control and manipulate. I just feel like there's whatever powers that be, was ever behind it all, it just doesn't. But then again, it's like, that's just my crazy head, because it's not just here in the U.S. It's happening everywhere. You go to Panama and it's like military. It's like martial law. I mean, I was just in Mexico City shooting a movie, and we rented out an entire hotel, and nobody could come or go. And we were there for a month, and I was like, well, I guess it's not just happening, it's happening everywhere. So
right.
It's hard to, contest the severity of it all, but I don't know. It's just, I'm a rebellious sort of soul in a lot of ways, and it's hard for me to do it. So I've just been spending a lot of time out there, just running free. Yeah,
I think it's part of the American psyche to not want to be told what to do, and to to feel like you have the right to do what and again, I feel torn, because I look at it and I go, well, if we all just followed it, it would shorten it, But then, so what am I doing going on the road? I mean,
but what is short? It feels to me like it's going to run its course no matter what until this vaccine,
Right.
I feel like no matter what we try to do, even if we're just going to prolong it, this is just my like dumbass opinion because I don't know anything, but it feels like this thing's going to run its course, whether we eventually it's going to do what it's going to do unless we get a vaccine for it, which
right.
Now we have, and hopefully that does the trick.
Well, and hopefully people take the vaccine because the percentages of people that are opposed to the vaccine now are like 50%.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's like
I'm not opposed to the vaccine. I'm not going to be the first one that takes it.
Yeah.
But
no. I'll wait. I'm always in my life. I've always been the crazy guy, but not the craziest guy. I was always like, no, you do it first, and then I'm right behind you.
Right.
Jump in if it was a cliff to jump into like a quarry or something like that. I was going to do it. I'll do a double backflip off the high diving board. You do it first. Just
make sure there isn't a sharp rock right beneath the surface.
Yeah, and we'll find out when he comes up, as soon as he comes up for air. But this actually transitions. I want to talk about the movie a little bit because it's that spirit. Here's the thing that after watching the movie made me realize, and I don't know that women experience this feeling that men do of like that feeling of yelling and bonding and doing stupid shit and exploding. What is that? Like, what emotion is that? What combination of emotion? Because women don't do that.
Or do they? I think that they've outsmarted us in a lot of ways. I feel like, and I'll get to your question, but I feel like, first of all, the movie, this surprised me more than anything. We tested it twice in theaters, and it tested higher with women than it did men.
No shit, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So they're just as naughty as we are, man.
Yeah.
They just have different ways of manifesting and sort of expressing it. But there is definitely something about guys and their youth, and when they're with their friends, there's like this, even now, we still do the buddy games every year, my buddies and I.
Oh, you do?
We've been doing it for 20 some years.
Wow.
This is where the movie came from. We actually came from, like, obviously there's no pina coladas or Komodo dragons or, half the stuff you'll see in the movie, but the spirit of it is there. And that spirit that you're talking about is that when we're together, we immediately revert back to our 16-year-old selves.
Yeah.
And there's this primal sort of inherent need to like let loose and just be I don't know.
So it's a release. It's
camaraderie, competition, camaraderie, release. Yeah, and I'm sure that, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to make it is because I know that, even though my group of friends, we've done this forever, I know that there's other groups of friends all over everywhere that do something similar. And it's not about the games as much as it is about the camaraderie and that release and that roar that you have when you're with your boys and when it's, and that's part of the reason I did it is because I wanted this thing to have that spirit that I wanted to capture the spirit of what we do every year.
It's like, and then I just realized, like, is it anger that's been built up? Is it pure joy? Is there let's be honest, there's little hints of homoeroticism mixed in there, just a touch. There's a lot of balls. There's a lot of grabbing dicks. There's a lot of that stuff.
That's true. I can't really explain it. It's something that I wouldn't trade for anything because it's this group of friends that, like, I'm sure your group of friends, as you get older, I think part of what you're talking about too is that as you get older, you value those. Of course, you love your family and your wife and everything else most of all. But those friendships that you've had forever become more valuable as you get older, for sure.
Right.
Because there's just, you meet new people, but you can't make old friends.
Right.
Those relationships those guys have seen you through it all. At least my buddies have seen me through all of it. And I value those relationships. And I love the fact that I go there. They don't give a fuck if I've been, if I was in a movie or if I wasn't doing whatever. They treat me exactly like anybody, like they did when we were 15 years old.
That must be such a safe haven for you, because living in LA, you're so much like every relationship is transactional. Not every, but a lot of it. A lot of the spirit is like, what can you do for me? What does it mean to me that I'm seen with you? All that stuff. And then when you can go back, I mean, for somebody like you to go and find a bunch of guys that treat you the way they always did, that must be amazing.
Yeah, they don't even ask about any of it. They don't, not because they're like purposely avoiding it. They just don't care.
Yeah,
they're just happy to see me. We go back, again, we play wiffle ball. We drink a lot of fucking vodka and whiskey or whatever, beer, a lot of beer. We usually do it at my cabin out in the woods, or we do it at my buddies in Minneapolis. Last year we rented a place in Montana away from everything.
Nice.
And it's just, and I think that there's this freedom that comes with it. For that weekend, we can just act like idiots and nobody's going to judge anybody.
Right.
And I think that's kind of the spirit of it.
Are they college friends or high school friends?
Most of them from grade school, kindergarten.
Oh, no kidding.
We go way back.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's a few guys that have come along, that have sort of come along through the years, but most of us, the core group of guys, like 7th grade is when we all really met.
Yeah.
A few of us have known each other since kindergarten.
Right.
The guy that plays Bender in the movie?
Yeah.
Or the guy that Swartzen plays?
Yeah.
I've known that dude since kindergarten.
Oh, no kidding.
He's one of my best friends. He's actually out there right now. He's fixing an old cabin out there for me right now.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I got, I think 7th and 8th grade really is a time for a boy, a young man, where I think the bonds go a lot deeper. The stakes change. And, I think that I really think 8th grade was like the most formative year of my life.
Oh, yeah. For me too, for sure. Because after 8th grade, for me, we thought we were the shit. And then we get into 9th grade, and all those girls that liked us in 8th grade, now one of the older high school guys.
Yeah, right.
So then we became like sort of the ones that were kicked aside, but all we had was each other.
Yeah.
All the girls that we all sort of formed these relationships around.
Yeah.
Suddenly didn't want us anymore. And so we just had each other.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed since then.
Did you get into fights? Did you get arrested? What was it like in Minot?
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, just the sneaking out or the appling. I mean, just, we would throw apples at cars and then go run. Then we get chased through the parks with this. We just do we were wild, man. We were a wild group of, I'm surprised that none of us are in prison.
Yeah.
Truly, I grew up in a rough neighborhood. Luckily, the guys that are my buddies weren't from that neighborhood, but I was as rough as it can get in mine in North Dakota. Yeah. But, I look at like the kids that were in that neighborhood now, most of them are dead or in prison, believe it or not.
Oh shit.
And so I had this group of guys has been like a second family to me.
What is that like in a bad neighborhood in Minot? Is there a factory in town, or like what do people do for work there?
Well, it was Northeast Minot. We were I don't really know what the main industry was.
It wasn't like a company town. No,
now it's become, over the last few years it was oil. But before that it was mostly farming. But nothing like no factory that you can sort of stake claim to. Right. Other than farming and agriculture. Yeah. Which is all, and your lifetime, I'm sure you've seen it go from family farms to collective farms more. Yeah, well, I'm not even sure. But my grandfather, my mom was my mom grew up on a farm about an hour out of Minot, and everything around Minot was agricultural. So Minot itself wasn't necessarily a farming town because the farmers were out farming.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not, it was just a kind of a rough part of the town. And it was,
right.
I mean, it's not like growing up in South Central, but it was, I'm lucky that I made it out of there and didn't do anything really stupid.
Right. So I want to ask you about the shooting of the movie. Like with COVID, were you guys shooting this while COVID had already started? Did you have issues with that?
Well, Buddy Games?
Yeah.
Oh no, this movie's been done for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
We shot this in 2017. So
why did it take so long to come out?
Well, so there's a number of reasons. The first thing was that we finished it and it was ready to come out, but the guy that ran the studio, Michael Louie, was let go, and then it became in the hands of people that were underneath him who really didn't know what to do with it. So
okay.
I didn't like the way they were going to release it. They were just going to kind of put it out and just kind of like let it do whatever. Right. I'd seen it perform so well in the theaters that I was like, this deserves better. So I bought the movie back from them.
Oh, you did? Wow.
So I own the rights to the movie.
No shit. Wow.
It was one of the ballsiest things I've ever done, but it worked out. We were able to then turn around and get Paramount and Saban to do both the foreign and the domestic. And so that took about another year just to get the legal stuff done, because there's a million documents that have to be signed in order to transfer from the studio to somebody else. And what was it? I see the WWE listed as a producer. They were the ones who financed the movie. They produced the movie. No, have they done that before? Huh? Have they done that before? I don't think so. I did it. My attorney was like,
"That's hilarious.
Your mind? That's the ballsiest thing. Nobody's ever done that." I was like, "I don't care, man. Yeah, this was better." And so that took a year. So that was like into 2019, and then COVID, and then finally I just said I just finally had to say, can we just, because they wanted to push it out to 2021 again. Oh shit! Until theaters are open. I was like, we've got to put it out now. There's people are at home. They want something like this. There's nothing else coming out. This is our time. Let's just do it. So we're able to get it into still 400 screens. There's still 400 screens across the country that it was on. It did really well. And then it went #1 across all digital. Did it really? Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. No shit. So that was it was like such a sense of, I mean, if you only knew the battles that I had to fight to get this thing across the finish line, it's just been one thing after another, and I had this movie that I truly believed in. And, it was a learning experience from the very get-go, from writing it all the way through, through the promoting of the movie. It's just been a monster, the biggest thing I've ever undertaken for sure. And then to have people actually like the movie. The critics hated it, but I knew they would. But the people have really responded to the movie. It's wild and it's dumb, and I think that's kind of what people wanted to see right now. I think it's probably one of those. I didn't look up the reviews, but I would imagine it's one of those things on Rotten Tomatoes where the reviewers' number is very different than the audience. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it is, and it's tough because I love it and it stings, but I've never really had anything they liked. Yeah. So I've learned to sort of accept that, but it's at the end of the day, the people decide, and so far it's been well received. Yeah, I don't think Adam Sandler gets too hung up on reviews these days as he cranks out his 30th hit movie. Yeah, no kidding. It's hard to not get hurt by it or stung, but at the same time it's like, this is not for them. Are there some that make you laugh because they're so bad? Yeah, I mean, listen, I knew when we first started writing this, I was like, we're going to get crushed. They hate this movie. Right. But I still wanted it. I wasn't out to make it for them. I truly wasn't. I wanted to make something that I wanted to go see. And it was a movie like this. And it was something that, it was the only thing that I could have, it was my first time directing, but it's the only thing that I really could have directed my first time out of the gate, because I knew exactly the story I wanted to tell. I knew the tone that I wanted it to sort of live in. And, you know, I'd done enough. I knew that it was scary because I didn't, part of the reason I hadn't really taken an attempt at directing before was because I didn't think I knew enough.
Right.
I didn't know which lens to put in the camera. I didn't know, you know, but I knew enough to know that I didn't have to know everything.
Right.
I just had to know I'd have a good group of people around me that I could be able, this is what I want. This is you know, this, and I had a great DP, Luke Bryant, who just, you know, he was total gamer. He just came in and listened and was the whole movie was all about people just sort of coming in and laying it down. I mean, the cast, they worked for nothing. You know? And I'm forever grateful to them for that. I mean, for Dax Shepard to show up for free and points on the back end, you know, all I care about right now is being able to pay him and just saying, thank you, dude. Thank you for showing up.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I've had almost your whole cast on this show, by the way.
Oh, you have?
Well, Nick's been on probably 10 times. And and I had Olivia's been on, Dan Bacadol.
Oh, he's great.
Dax has been on. So
have you had Kevin Dillon?
No, I'd love to have Kevin Dillon on.
You know who you need to get is James Roday. That dude is one of the brightest, funniest dudes in real life that you'll ever. He's one of the most clever dudes.
No shit.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. How'd you find him?
Huh?
How'd you find him?
That was actually Michael Luisi's idea. I'd worked with Roday he directed me in a TV show called Battle Creek that we did a season of, and he was one of the directors. That's how I met him, and I was a fan of his from Psych, and we just hit it off. And when it came time to cast, you know, he came up, and I was like, he'd be great. I had no idea that he was going to be as game as he was. He came in and he had ideas. You know, I leaned on these guys too. I leaned on him and Dax actually, because they both directed. And I'd be like, we got 20 minutes to shoot this thing out. What should I do?
Yeah.
And, you know, and I don't care. I'm like, listen, I just want to make a good movie.
Yeah.
Best idea wins.
Right. Right.
So sometimes, you know, I would be like, what do you guys think? You know, but I did have a clear vision of what I wanted to do, but I wasn't afraid to ask for help if I needed it.
How much did the script change as you shot?
The script itself didn't change other than within each scene, except for every scene. Yeah. If that makes any sense. So the story.
So dialogue changed, but story.
Right. The scene had to achieve something to push the story forward.
Yeah.
Every scene to get to where we needed to get, but I gave them a lot of freedom to sort of do what they wanted. You know, we try to keep to the script, but if they had an idea, go for it. And I learned as an actor that 9 times out of 10, if I have fun and improvise stuff, it ends up on the screen.
Yeah.
And so I knew that, you know, and I had a cast that could do that. They could all do it. And most of the time what they said was better than what I'd written anyway.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what Dan comes from, that background with Veep.
Yeah.
You know,
Second City.
I mean, he's really something else. Him on Veep. Holy shit. I mean, I don't know if he ever won an Emmy on that show. I think he might have, or he definitely was nominated a few times. But, man, he is good. He is.
Well,
really,
you know, he was the hardest. That character was the hardest one to cast because we needed somebody who was an actor first, who could go dark, who was fearless, didn't mind like being naked, full
frontal nudity,
with a tiny little button on a fur coat for a dick.
Was that prosthetic or was that?
Yes, it's prosthetic. Yeah. For Dan's sake, yes, we have to make that clear. He's a well-hung human.
I'm sure.
He had to tuck that shit underneath. But anyway, he was, you know, he's an actor first. He was able to improvise. He was fearless. He was all these things we needed. And he wasn't a huge name, but he was the kind of guy that we needed to really sort of lead the show in a lot of ways. I mean, he and Nick were kind of the guys we needed to lead this thing.
Right.
And he did a great job. And by the way, he got hurt at the halfway. So we had 18 days to shoot this. And at day 9 was that big slide. Remember the slide that he went on?
Yeah.
He actually really basically broke his leg. He got what they call a subdermal hematoma, which is worse than a break. It was terrible. He literally couldn't stand up for like more than 30 seconds before the thing would just like, the pain just became too much. And we would have to lay him back down between takes.
Damn.
And so we had a body double, and whenever he had to move, we had to have a body double. And he just fought through it. The movie, in all fairness, should never have been. We should have stopped production.
Yeah.
But he refused. He wanted to keep going. Thankfully, he did.
He must be from Minot, North Dakota. That's my guess.
That dude.
All right. Well, listen, I don't want to keep you. I want to play one quick game before we go. This is a game I like to play with my guests. It's called What Was Your Nickname? And we'll find out what yours was. And then we have people that write in, listeners, tell us their nicknames, and we'll read some of those. What was your nickname in high school or college? Okay, now wait. Give me the rules again. So do I tell you the truth or not? Yeah. You can give me 3 choices, and I'll guess which one is the real one. Okay. Dewey, Lumpy Doorknob, and JD. Well, JD seems, no, it's not JD. Lumpy Doorknob sounds like a great fucking story. Dewey must have happened at some point, but I think Lumpy Doorknob was the one that stuck. No. Do I tell you the truth? Yeah, what's the truth? The truth is that was my dad's nickname, Lumpy Doorknob. Oh, really? He played his fast pitch softball. They called him Lumpy Doorknob. I don't know where he got that name. You don't know what it means? I don't. I need to figure out. Yeah, you might want to find that out. But Dewey was what they all called me. Yeah, that's a good one. Now. That's good. All right, this comes from Michael G. I had the affectionate nickname in high school of Farthead. I was famous for my frequency and my power in both smell and sound. I purchased a Pittsburgh Pirates hat, which at that time was 1988 with a bold yellow P. Remember those ugly fucking Pirates hats? Oh, yeah. They had the black pinstripe things going across? Yeah. And then I took a razor and I turned the P into an F. So I guess it said, I guess close enough, Pirate and Farthead. You left it on. I proudly left high school as a virgin, possibly a connection there. Yeah, I think that's the thing about a nickname. It can help you, it can hurt you. Like Dewey sounds like, all right, this guy plays football. He's got some good friends. It plays well off his last name. But Farthead means like you date that guy and you're dating Farthead. Yeah. That's not going to get you laid. No. It's not going to get you laid. No, you don't want to lose your virginity to a guy who can't control his bowels. You got to be careful about what they tag you with. Yeah. This comes from Russ White. I did 6 years in the USMC. Thank you for your service, Russ. Thank you, Russ. Say it. You better say it. Thank you, Russ. When we would deploy to other bases around the country, guys would do what guys do. Hit the town, drink, look for girls. I was already married, but I went for the drinking. I was wearing jeans, a flannel shirt, and a jean jacket at a bar in Miramar. We sat down, and the guy across from me said, "That's how you dress to go to a club? What the fuck? You look like you're going to work at an oil rig." And I was called Dusty for the rest of my tour. That's good. That's good. I would imagine if you're in the armed forces, you can't not have a nickname. No. No, and I think that it reminds me of like an early nickname that never stuck, thank God, was Josh Duhamel, Hump the Camel. So I'd take Dusty over Humpy. Although Humpy might get you laid, I don't know. Humpy's not bad. That's not bad. Wait, do people call you Duhamel? Duhamel, yeah. I mean, just mostly because it's the way it looks. Yeah. Do you correct people when they say that?
Nah, I don't care.
Who cares? They're saying your name. That's the key.
Exactly.
Andrew Ferguson said, my real name is Andy, and my nickname growing up was Panda. This originated because there was a book similar to Curious George called Andy Panda. In kindergarten, my teacher asked me if I wanted the class to call me Andy or Panda. I chose Andy. I sometimes look back and I think, what would life be like if I had grew up as Panda?
Panda's not so bad.
It's not bad.
They're cuddly creatures. Hold on. They're taking my dog out to pee. She peed all over the floor last night.
I think the right girl is going to be attracted to a panda. And I think it also depends on you physically. If you're overweight, I don't think you want the name of a bear.
Hi, Axel.
But if you're thin or Asian, if you're Asian, I think Panda would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Panda's not bad. I mean, it's better than Farthead.
Yes. Yeah, Farthead takes the cake today. All right, that'll do it. Listen, I can't tell people enough. I watched the movie today. I enjoyed the shit out of it. And I honestly thought this is a movie guys are going to love. But now, according to you, women like it even more than men. So
they're just as naughty as we are, man.
Yeah. Buddy Games, Dax Shepard, Olivia Munn, Kevin Dillon, Neil McDonough. Unbelievable cast. And you're great in it. So congratulations on your directorial debut. Hopefully many more. And thank you so much for spending some time with me.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you having me, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right. We'll talk to you again.
God bless you. Have fun down there in Venice Beach.
Yeah, I will. Thanks.
I'll tell Nick you said hello.
Yeah, please do. I just texted him that I was coming on. He told me to say hi.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Take care.
See ya. Bye.